So the Kremlin under Putin is aggressively ramping up its efforts to militarize and indoctrinate Russian youth, using patriotism as a thinly veiled excuse for creating a generation loyal to the Kremlin's imperialist agenda. Under the guise of fostering national pride, these programs aim to prepare young Russians to support and even participate in the country's ongoing and future wars. It's a strategy designed not only to cement control at home, but also to sustain Russia's aggressive posture abroad, and we've seen it over and over and over again from countries like Russia and Nazi Germany. One of the more chilling aspects of this plan involves the establishment of a so-called military sports camp, where these camps claim to encourage physical fitness and national pride, but in reality they're training grounds where children are taught combat tactics, survival skills, and propaganda-infused history. This isn't about youth development, it's about transforming kids into tools for the Kremlin's war machine. The expansion of these camps into occupied Ukrainian territories adds another layer of insidiousness, as it seeks to erase local identities and force Russian nationalism on Ukrainian children. Programs like the Roads to Victory play a critical role in this indoctrination. Marketed as a cultural and historical excursion, they focus exclusively on glorifying Russia's military past, conveniently omitting the darker chapters of its history. These are carefully curated narratives, feeding into the Kremlin's broader strategy of rewriting history to justify its current and future military aggression. To make this propaganda even more pervasive, the Kremlin is rolling out an online platform dedicated to military patriotic education. By integrating these ideas into digital spaces, Russia ensures that its distorted version of patriotism reaches children everywhere, making it nearly impossible to escape the state's influence. Youth organizations like the Unarmaya and the Movement of the First are the frontline troops in this cultural war, and they really sound like the bad guys from Star Wars or something like that. Now, disguised as civic groups, they operate as paramilitary organizations that indoctrinate children into the Kremlin's worldview. With millions of members, these groups are becoming a pipeline for militarization, ensuring a steady stream of recruits for Russia's armed forces. The Time of Heroes program, yes, yet another program here, is another troubling development. By placing veterans of the war in Ukraine into government positions, the Kremlin is embedding militaristic values into every layer of society. Now, I know that the United States has a veteran program to employ them in the federal government, but it isn't to indoctrinate. They just simply work. It's just a benefit that comes to former soldiers and former Marines, sailors, etc. Now, these Russian veterans, some who have been accused of war crimes, are being glorified as role models, further normalizing the idea that violence and aggression are acceptable tools of state policy. The announcement of 2025 as the year of the defender of the fatherland in Russia is a clear signal of the Kremlin's long-term intentions here. Putin is aligning Russia's political and cultural priorities with his vision of a militarized state. It's a calculated move to ensure that society continues to rally around his expansionist ambitions, no matter the cost to individual freedoms, global stability, or the number of lives he takes within Russia because of his foolish policies. Now, these programs are not about patriotism or pride. They are tools of control, designed to brainwash a generation into unquestioning loyalty to a regime that thrives on conflict and repression. The world should take note, and this is not just a domestic issue for Russia, it will become an international one. It's part of a larger strategy that threatens international peace and security, and we need to address it as fast as possible.